We have you here on day 2 of the DMA and Then Conference. Can you just introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Nora Horvath Magyary. I'm the Chief Communication Officer of K&H Bank and the insurance company, which is the second largest financial institution in my country, in Hungary, in Central Europe. We are a 100% owned subsidiary of the Belgian KBC financial group.
Great. And what brings you to the conference today?
Well, the reason why we are here because we had the privilege to receive an award last night, the Echo Award in the financial segment, and we received a silver award with our program, which we have developed for SMEs. And we were very honored because not only from Hungary but from Central Europe we were the only awarded applicants. So it's a great privilege and a great honor for us.
That's great. Well, congratulations. That's
Thank you
excellent.
very much.
So talk to me a little bit about why you think you guys won the award and what you really kind of brought to the table and what made it unique and stand out in the industry.
All right. Communicating with small and medium-sized enterprises, I think is pretty difficult. We have been trying to do that for quite a few decades, but for some reason they seem to be one moment thinking as an individual, the other moment as a corporation. And to find the right moment, the right balance, how to address them, is something that companies have been struggling with, as I noticed. And we have come up with an idea which combined the two. So on one hand, we carried out a so-called social research. Basically, we had a microsite and we asked the population of our country to spot on the map of Hungary what kind of businesses, services they miss in what location. So it was very close to the heart of the individual people, because everybody is very conscious about their microenvironment, about their local neighborhood. So everybody started to pin, I would like a bakery here, I would like a hairdresser here, a greengrocer. And in no time, in this very small country of ours, which has no more than 10 million inhabitants, we had 15,000 little pins.
Wow.
Showing the need for certain businesses, for certain services. Moreover, people could also vote, because, for example, you put down a little pin, I want a greengrocer here, and I felt the same, so I just voted yes, that's a good idea. So it was, a social research, a social media boosted research, but at the same time, it was a free research on consumer demand for small and medium enterprises. Mm-hmm. And when we think about the fact why small and medium enterprises fail, because they do fail on a large scale, is the fact that they do not have the money for a proper research on the need of the population. Mm-hmm. They do not know whether that need is geographically located where they want to start that business. All they know that they love making muffins, right? They have a passion which is driving their business, but they do not have the marketing knowledge, they do not have the research data, they have nothing about consumer spending and competition in the area. It's very self-made enterprise that they do. Now this is where we help, which was a tremendous help for them, especially in the area of the financial and economic crisis that we experienced in Europe and worldwide a few years ago still.
That's great. It sounds like a great case study, and I love how customer-centric it is. It really puts their needs first and foremost. So talk to me a little bit about how you then brought the bank into the picture and made them relevant in the context of the whole campaign.
Oh, absolutely. So small and medium enterprises could look at this map online, but at the same time, if they registered with us, they got more hard data, which we contracted from our existing databases about the industry that they chose, about the geographical location where they wanted to set up their business. And obviously that was a great lead for us as well, to contact them, to help them with their business plan, to ask them about their development plans, maybe offer them a current account service later or a loan to take out, first an overdraft and then a development loan. So to start this relationship with the financial institution, also on the insurance side, because SMEs do need insurance as well. So what we experienced that in these 3 months of the campaign, the results very much exceeded our targets. We had 252,000 people visiting our website, which again, in this small country, it's a huge number. We had almost 3,000 SMEs opening an account with us, and almost 300 SMEs taking out a loan. And what is very interesting, we have a research which is called SME Confidence Index. It shows every quarter of the year how much confidence the SMEs have in the local economy. Yeah? And ever since the financial and economic crisis started, obviously this index went down. It never reached the point zero, it was always negative. We could say it was either bad or very bad. Mm-hmm. And after this campaign, it was the very first time since 2010 that this confidence index went into the positive. All of a sudden, the SMEs had the feel that, okay, life is not that bad. There are still consumers out there. There's still demand which is not fulfilled. Mm-hmm. And if I'm do it in a smart way, not just based on my intuitions, I can make a business and at the same time live my full dream.
Wow, that's phenomenal. So talk to me a little bit about, as you explain the campaign and how you put it together and all the many components of it. You hear a lot in the industry about silos inhibiting advertising and marketers and getting in the way, but it seems like for this campaign and to kind of demonstrate the success you've had, you really had to work across all departments within your company and get buy-in across the board. Talk to me a little bit about how that was.
Right. Well, we are in a very fortunate situation because the Communications Directorate, which I'm heading, is responsible for all of the business lines in the financial institution and also for the bank and the insurance business. So we are responsible for the consumer, for the small and medium enterprises, large corporates, institutional investors, all the banking services, all the insurance services. So it's centralized, but also it gives us the great opportunity to coordinate with the different business domains and to get them easily around one table and get them buy-in into an idea. So this program had the support both of the consumer business domain and the small and medium enterprise business domain, both on the insurance side and on the bank side. So it was a great cooperation, and tell you the truth, obviously the success was also celebrated by a large number of people in our company.
That's great, and should be. It sounds like a great campaign. So let's bring it back then to the industry overall. Talk to me a little bit about what you're really excited about next year and how you see the industry evolving.
What I see is that soon we are going to find the balance between all the technological and data-driven marketing activities and the emotional part. I have the feeling that in the last few years we got very much concentrated on data and technology. But when we think about it, how come that on social media, on Facebook and the others, what people really love to post are children's pictures, sunset pictures, little kittens and little puppies. Because in face of all this technology, which is, let's face it, is very cold, yeah? We still have our emotions and we still need that connection, that emotional connection. And yes, technology opens up all the borders, right? We get in touch and we keep in touch with relatives far away, with whom we cannot have this personal contact, but we still miss that personal contact. We want the emotion. And if we look at the award-winning campaigns of the Echo Award, there we can also see that whenever technology and data is put to service the emotional bonds, this personal connection between people, then it is a winning situation. And that's, I think, what was most awarded last night.
Very interesting. I think that's a refreshing approach, certainly, because you're right. Everybody's talking about data and technology and AI and everything in that space, but you're absolutely right. You still need the heart, and you still need the human touch to all of it, and to initiate it and to strategize for it. So
Right, and I think it's, you get all these lists, which professions, which jobs will disappear due to technology, due to AI, and due to deep learning, and due to all these automated processes. And obviously there are attempts as well, actually quite good attempts, to digitalize and to automate marketing and advertising. And where it will stop, or where it will reach its boundary, is when it is about consumer insight, when it's about emotions and creativity. That's where AI will be able, in my opinion, to come up with new things which are a very good, very strong replica of the old. And we won't be able to see the difference between an AI-generated advertisement and a kind of a mediocre advertisement that used to be done by agencies. But when it comes to really brilliant idea, and brilliant ideas are always based on proper consumer insight and finding the emotional trigger in the consumer behavior, then it's still going to be the humans that will need to do it.
Couldn't agree more. So talk to me a little bit about, you mentioned AI. How are you leveraging it at the bank right now, especially in the marketing world?
Right. I think we are talking a lot about AI, but we are still far away, not only our institution, but the industry as a whole, from really utilizing AI. AI needs data, a lot of data. We do have that, but it needs good quality data, right? There we are not sure that all industry players in the world have good quality data, especially as people realize how much their own data is being used. The fake data they input into the world system is getting larger, so that's not going to be easy. And then another obstacle to AI will be that the data captured in various softwares, in various IT environments, will have to be able to talk to each other. Now, I'm not saying it's not going to be done. Yes, it is being done. It will happen. It will go exponential, but it's not here yet. We see certain examples when it's done, and then we celebrate it, because we all know that's the way forward. But I wouldn't say it's mainstream yet.
Right.
So we will still need a couple of years, no more, to have that on hand. And that obviously includes our financial institution as well. We are not there yet. There are certain areas where we use it. There are certain areas where we experiment with AI. But I wouldn't say that we AI'd our company.
That's interesting, because as a bank, I imagine you have a great amount of data on one-to-one and data on your customers, a lot more than a lot of companies. So it's interesting to hear that you have the data, but is it clean? Are you using it in the right way? And can you really tap into AI again?
And it's no wonder that the companies that have started only a few years or 10, 15 years ago, they are the ones they can utilize the data the most easily, because they have one IT system, and it's a new IT system. It's a little bit like your home, yeah? When you move into a house, if it's already, if you bought it second hand, it's not so easy to refurbish it, yeah? But if you build it from scratch, then everything is top notch when you move in. So
and
that's
it's
the
built for
difference.
today.
Oh yes, then it's easy to have the solar panels, to have all the environmentally friendly solutions. If you move into a house which is 50, 60 years old, well, you even want to watch the wires in the walls, right?
That's a perfect analogy. We see that with clients all the time. That the bigger the legacy systems that you're trying to put together and coordinate. And I couldn't agree more. That's really. But I love the analogy. That's a great perspective. Okay, so to round it out, if we just have one more question, if you could just answer, what keeps you up at night? What are you really worried about looking into 2019?
Into 2019. All right. What keeps me what keeps me awake these days is not so much about our marketing profession, but to tell you the truth, is more my colleagues, my team. Yeah. Because we see there's a shift in the way of thinking of the generations and also their working methods. And I believe, even though they are not so extreme as some of the HR conferences would say, but there is a shift. And we have to learn to work with them, and they have to learn to work with us.
Interesting. So do you see that as the time they're putting in, or the balance between night hours and day? What's the shift that you see?
It's not only, I wouldn't say the time they put in, but the way they put that time in. Yeah? They work in snippets. Yeah?
Yes.
They work in snippets. They are on and off. Which is fine with me because I'm not a 9 to 6 person either when it comes to work. But somehow they're working, they don't concentrate on a project so much for so long as we used to do at their age. But they rather start something, then start something else, and they can still find their way. It's much more fluid, it's much more intuitive the way they work, and it's much less structured. So there's this conflict of working culture a little bit, but that's good, because if everything was the same as it was 10, 20 years ago, it would be very boring, wouldn't it?
That's true. That's true. Well, I think technology has certainly enabled that, because you're on and off throughout the day, you're on and off all night, you're on and off all weekend sometimes. That it now brings it into the work environment where you're on and off throughout the day as well. So that's interesting. Well, thank you very much. It was great chatting with you. Thank you.
Thank you.